What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor at FightfulWrestling.com. Go over there, get all of your wrestling news. We just had live coverage of all the All Elite Wrestling stuff. We had the live stream up there, live tweets. We have Jacob Cohen on scene. He'll be providing us with some content as well. But let's talk about these announcements. Lots of stuff to get into. All Elite Wrestling is not playing around. Most of the people on the roster are people that you would expect, people that appeared on All In, but there were some exceptions and some major notes as well. Double or Nothing, May 25th, MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. Also, a Jacksonville show has been announced, not a specified date, but some of the profits from the gate will go to gun violence survivors. I think that was a really, really smart move for Cody Rhodes to employ in that, but we have a lot of roster information, just a ton of it. When we came into this presser, a lot of people suspected Kenny Omega. No announcement about Kenny Omega was made. No announcement of Kenny Omega was put out there, but we do have the rest of the roster thus far. Of course, there's Cody Rhodes, Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, Hangman Page, Brandy Rhodes. We're aware of those. We knew that they were going to be there. Scorpio Sky, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, all assumed as well. Then you had some other players who appeared on All In the form of MJF. Now, MJF was, up until a month ago, the MLW middleweight champion, and we've heard about a lot of raids going on for MLW talent. I'm unsure of his contract status, but lots of people have been going at it after MLW talent. This is the latest one. MJF is a good one. He's 22 years old. He comes out there. I saw a lot of people kind of outing themselves as they hadn't seen his heel work. He is a heel through and through, and this group really needed heels. MJF, a very, very good one. He was attacked by Joey Janela, who was accompanied by Penelope Ford. Now, Penelope Ford recently took part in a WWE tryout. She was heavily featured in the videos and all that, but she is in All Elite Wrestling now. More on that in a bit. Janela and Ford, whether it was real or not, had put forth a breakup on Twitter and really sold it. If they weren't broken up, then they did more. In the words of Jeremy Lambert, one of my writers, they did more to kayfabe All Elite Wrestling than the people in charge of All Elite Wrestling did. Joey Janela, I had told you guys when he said that he would be out for a year, be wary of that. I'd be very shocked if he was out for a full year. Also, something you have to think about Joey Janela, from a booking and promoting standpoint, the guy has a following as well, a rabid following. I wonder what will happen to the Joey Janela shows. We don't know yet. We know that he does have a show set for has 2 shows set for WrestleMania weekend. He's got 2 nights of shows. But Joey Janela is an excellent get for All Elite Wrestling because of his following. You know what he can do in the ring. Penelope is a part of that package. She's real good too. She's somebody that WWE obviously had their eye on in that regard. From Joey Janela, I wonder if they will acquire the rights to the Joey Janela themed shows as a result. If the money is what it's rumored to be, I don't know why or how they wouldn't, but that's just me speculating at this stage. It's just unbelievable. Also, Matt Jackson, in kind of underwhelming fashion, said that he had helped orchestrate a talent exchange of sorts where the Strong Hearts from OWE in China will be a part of this company. That includes some pretty solid names over there too. I encourage you guys to kind of do your own research there, as I did. I wasn't completely familiar with OWE outside of some of the stuff that I had watched. It's not a program that we cover a ton of, but man, you've got some good vets in there too. You've got some decent names that will help support your card, that will provide some tag team depth as well, which is something that the company needs. So that's another announcement that they had. Chris Jericho was the big show closer. Chris Jericho, a guy who at one point said that he would never wrestle for anybody in WWE or out on United States land besides WWE, and he appeared at All In. Did the little gimmick where he showed up there and attacked Kenny Omega. That was a solid get. Now, who knows how much he'll actually work? Who knows what role he'll have in this company? But Chris Jericho was one of the initial names rumored by SE Scoops way back in October. One of the names that wasn't there that was mentioned, Jim Ross. Jim Ross was not mentioned at the presser at all. I don't know that he was even there. But as rumored back in October or whenever that was, he was not there. Now, I was told today by several WWE superstars that they found out in September. So this was not a big secret among talent. There has been some feeling out going on in that regard. So there are WWE talent who were aware of it. All of them that I spoke to said that they feel very positive about this, that they're very happy about this. There was one veteran talent that I spoke to that said that these guys have the finger on the pulse and they have a great shot. They need to get the right distribution, though. Billy Gunn also announced he is an agent. I'm sure he'll do an appearance here and there. His son, Austin Gunn, was there as well, but nothing was announced with him. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get involved in some capacity, but Billy Gunn announced for this show, or announced for as an agent for this company. Whoever wrote these theme songs, and I have already asked, they got somebody good there too. They got some bangers. They got some bangers. Somebody says JR is still under contract at WWE, right? Yes, and technically access for the New Japan stuff. So if JR is involved, don't know that he can really be announced for several weeks or a couple months rather. Another good signing, Brit Baker Dmd. Let me tell you how much I like this girl. Had a good showing at All In. One of the top independent women wrestling talents there are. I tried to interview her leading into All In, leading into a few different things this summer. It didn't work out, and I get an email in November where she said, "Hey, Sean, I was clearing out my emails and saw where we couldn't connect on that interview. Let's make it happen." She's a wise woman. She knows to get buzz out there about things before there even needs to be buzz out there. We have her for an upcoming edition of Enhancement Stories where she talks about her experience with Nia Jax. That full interview is up on YouTube right now. I encourage you guys to check it out. And that wasn't it with the female wrestling announcements. Brandy Rhodes said that the female wrestlers are going to be paid on an even plane with the male wrestlers. So now, while you don't have a wealth of American talent to pick from like WWE has right now, and a lot of the really good women are signed up by Impact Wrestling as well, you got to look at the pay structure. There are going to be people in WWE, women in WWE, who are going to look over at that and say, oh yeah, I want to make Britt Baker money. That's my goal. I want to make Britt Baker money. She's getting paid to be a dentist and a wrestler now. Keep in mind, she is under a 1-year dental contract as well. So, man, Britt Baker, another excellent signing. And to me, the ace signing, Neville, now known as Pac, announced for this show, came out and confronted Hangman Page, who declared his intent to be the first AEW champion. Pac says that he has his own championship and that Hangman can't lace his boots. So, boy, when you look at that and the people that we didn't know about that got signed in were Jericho, Pac, MJF, and Joey Janela on the men's side. Then you got Britt Baker and Penelope Ford helping out on the women's side. They got the ones where it's like, okay, they should pick up them. They should pick up them. Kenny Omega, there's still question marks around him. Of course, All Elite, I'm sure, would try to reach out to a CM Punk if they did for All In. I think you got to try to make him a real offer. If you're going to make the type of offers where people are going to turn their heads, CM Punk needs a big one. Or he's a big one that you want to reach out to. That way you can at least say, we made the offer. Because that's always been CM Punk's thing. He says, nobody's ever made me an offer. They've reached out to test the waters, but they've never really made an offer. And that's what CM Punk needs. If they make him an offer, they stand a chance. If not, they don't stand a chance. Neville adds top of the card depth. Immediately, top of the card depth. Somebody says, SRS, how come AEW doesn't try to work with the NWA? We don't know who they will work with or who they won't work with. Right now, the NWA is working with Ring of Honor. I don't know that Ring of Honor is too keen on working with All Elite right now. Jason Willis says, would love to see the new Hart Foundation sign with AEW. Harry Smith, Davey Boy Smith Jr. signed long-term. By the way, guys, I will be answering questions on All Elite Wrestling on our premium Fightful Select service. If you all haven't checked it out, go over and subscribe. Now you can ask unlimited questions. Every other week I do a Q&A, and if there's something I don't know, I ask somebody who generally does. We do retro reviews every month. We have Royal Rumble 88 up there. Every week we do a 205 Live NXT review. Every week we do non-WWE reviews. And, of course, when All Elite launches on Fightful.com, the free site, we will be doing All Elite Wrestling post shows as well. Man. So there's there's a lot of answers and a lot of question marks. We don't know the degree in which the OWE China partnership will come into play, but Matt Jackson says that he made that happen. So that's a really good one to pull in if you can. Pull in some talent that people haven't seen before. Pull in some talent that don't have exposure in America. That could play like WCW's Cruiserweight acquisitions did. When you have this wealth of talent that nobody's seen before, but you know can work and have a reputation that precedes them, that's good. I know that Mandy O'Donnell is working with AEW in a PR role. We know Dana Massey is working with AEW in some capacity, although it hasn't been announced what. Shad Khan, Tony Khan's father, announced himself as the lead investor in this. So it's not just Tony Khan. A lot of people accuse Tony Khan of being a money mark. His dad's the lead investor in this, issued us a statement today. Just an unbelievable amount of news. And I can tell you guys by the live viewing numbers right now at 6 p.m. In the evening on a Tuesday, we have the live streaming numbers of an advertised post-Raw podcast on any given week. And I'm talking good numbers. Right now, we are at those type of numbers. So, I mean, it's got at least that type of interest from the wrestling community. What that says, I don't know. I know that the All Elite Wrestling stream cross-platform hit well over 65,000. That's amazing. That's really good stuff. Somebody says, would make sense for them to buy rights to the Janela shows and also use the Jericho cruise as pay-per-view. So as far as pay-per-view, I don't know how that would work with it being on a boat, but if you're taping some shows there, that would make some sense as well. I don't know the platform, and I have a lot of people asking me about Impact and where they are. Ed Nordholm saying that he wasn't planning on selling. He met with WWE earlier this year. There are rumors that they already talked to AEW. Impact is not in a positive way financially. He held a backstage meeting and said that getting Impact on the Pursuit Network, or one of the Anthem properties, was always a part of the goal. No, not so much. Not so much. We have Mr. Jacob Cohen sending in updates to me as I'm live. He said that Tony Khan is answering questions, but right now it's nothing but fluff answers. He won't talk about any free agents. So we'll wait and get more updates from Jacob Cohen, who you all may know does a lot of the NXT spoilers. I contacted him when I found out he was going. We have somebody saying they had 100,000 people watching. Based on the numbers I saw, it was closer. Man, I don't know. what those numbers were, but I didn't see it anywhere near that. I'd have to check right now. But live, at least, those live stream numbers can be manipulated too. They probably had more than what it said live, because I know a lot of times we'll have a certain number of people live on the stream, and we'll end the stream and it'll say like hundreds less. And that's what happened with All Elite Wrestling. It only says 50,000 views on their YouTube right now, but they had more than that streaming live. Do I think this can be a viable alternative? I do, but I do think that TV is important. I think they need to land on TV somewhere. I think that would be key for them to be successful. It's not impossible to succeed without television. I mean, let's be honest. Nationally, not a ton of people are following New Japan here via Access. That's why when Access was originally brought up as a component to this, I immediately reached out to Access and I was like, really? And they said, no, we're not. That's not us. We're not a part of that. Does WWE pay attention to the rally? Yeah, WWE was very aware of the rally. I've been speaking to people within WWE all week. I'll have a story up on that tomorrow morning, and it will be up in the Fightful Wrestling Weekly. I do a podcast every week on Select, where I go into the weekly before it's up. There's a lot of people in WWE happy because they know what competition is. And no matter the sense of competition, no matter what you think the competition level might be for WWE, Vince McMahon is a very competitive guy. I've had a lot of people say, Vince doesn't care what's going on there. Yes, Vince does. Vince's entire run from when he decided to go national, then global, has largely been predicated on him caring, him taking talent from other companies, him doing things to prevent other companies from being on certain networks, him doing things to help his... I mean, you're going to tell me that the signing of Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows was done, what we know now, because WWE wanted to enrich their tag team division? No, it wasn't. Is Vince losing his shit? I don't think Vince is losing his shit. He's not going to sell it. He's not going to pretend like he cares. Vince will never sell anything like that. He'll hit people with a goddamn pal, what's going on with this type of thing. Vince isn't the type to really blow up over something like that. I'm asked if the OWE announcement affects any chances in the future of AEW and New Japan working together. I don't think so. I don't believe that will affect anything. Will Fozzy do all the themes? I hope not. Jesus, I like Judas, but no. Is there a chance Kenny goes to WWE? Just curious. There's always a chance, but he signed through the end of January, so don't look for Kenny Omega to be in the Royal Rumble or anything like that. AEW roster is too one-dimensional at the moment. To some degree, I do agree. You have a lot of high flyers. Quite frankly, you got a lot of white guys on the roster. You need to diversify that roster quite a bit. I don't know where they can go or who they can bring in to do that. I don't know who's all out there from a free agent perspective, but there's still a big line like for questions and meet and greets and stuff that I see from the pictures that I'm being sent. Man, it was a very successful rally. I mean, just a few hundred people, not thousands or anything like that. I would recommend you guys just give it a chance more than anything. That's something that I did with NWA TNA wrestling back in the day. And hey, do I enjoy watching it these days? Not necessarily. But from 2005 to 2009, if I had to pick what was the more important pro wrestling show for me to watch, I would say TNA wrestling was. It was. If you were to ask me in 2011, 2012, who had the best tag team division in pro wrestling, I would have said Ring of Honor. That's what I would have said. There are aspects of pro wrestling that really need competition, and this is one of them. That's the period that we're in. And WWE knows that. That's why they step out and they say, well, everything's changing. Everything's changing. Is Desmond Xavier with Impact? Yeah, we had an exclusive interview with him recently, and it will be in the weekly as well. I'll be breaking it down. Sean, who is your game changer for the promotion to get? The game changer? Well, okay, let's take a look at things. This is purely speculatory on my point, on my aspect, but I was going to put together a video of 10 names that could make the jump to All Elite Wrestling. Well, the first one you would want to go after is AJ Styles. He is fresh off of a year-long run. Why is my camera so blurry? Fresh off of a year-long title run in WWE. And somebody that WWE wants really badly. They want to retain him. He wants to work a lighter schedule. There's no way All Elite Wrestling is going to work however many dates it is. I would want them. I would want Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson because of their connection with AJ Styles. Because you do have a form of Bullet Club in your company if you have those three guys. Also, they've been criminally underutilized. You can use them for a lot more stuff. Underrated name, Jimmy Jacobs, for a couple of reasons. While I don't like some of his creative ideas and Impact, I do not like the Ali Su Young storyline, and I talked to him about that. He does have experience in creative, high-level creative, WWE, Impact Wrestling. He can work in the ring. He can manage. He can do commentating. He can agent matches. There's a lot of stuff. Kenny Omega obviously is a major, major game changer that you want to get your hands on because he's one of the greatest workers in the world. WWE is going to come at him with a lot of money. New Japan probably is too. When I told you guys to kind of watch out for Kenny Omega saying he left New Japan, that's because Kenny Omega does that. Kenny Omega in 2017 had journalists on the hook saying, I'm thinking about going here. I'm thinking about going there. I'm doing that. He was still under contract. Obviously, he's buddies with these guys. He would be a big game changer. Marty Scurll's a guy who I think already fits the profile of a lot of people when people say that he's one-dimensional. I think that's a realistic name they can bring over. Got to remember, he lives with Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna's in WWE now. How will that affect his decision-making? Who knows? Tessa Blanchard is a name that I would get and build an entire company around if they can. If they can pull what I call the four horsewomen of Impact Wrestling's women's division, Tessa Blanchard, Jordynne Grace, Kiera Hogan, Taya Valkyrie, those are four names that you really, really should get. But Tessa is the one that stands out to me the most. You've heard about possible attitude issues that she might have. If that can be cleared up, man, is she a special talent. In WWE, you've got a couple of people. It's clear when you look at what Cody said to Zack Ryder. He's courting Zack Ryder. Now, a lot of people will say, Zack Ryder, who cares? Some people care. The guy's got millions of followers on Twitter. He was getting "We Want Ryder" chants while The Rock was in the ring. Does that mean he can be a major player? I'm not saying that at all. However, I think he could be a good hand for All Elite Wrestling. He's not a hand at all. Right now, they have him doing really good podcasts and digital content. Ty Dillinger is a name who seems perennially upset, perpetually upset about where he is in the company. That's a name that seems realistic as well. The name that a lot of people overlook that they should really, really go after is Kazuchika Okada. Why is that? And a lot of you are saying there's no way. There's no way. Well, if they're paying these guys what I'm hearing they're paying these guys, there's always a chance. And if you want to immediately have a global presence in Japan, Okada's the guy to get. You think Okada doesn't have a positive relationship with these guys? He does. You want to know who I've heard that he doesn't have such a positive relationship with? The New Japan Pro Wrestling Management. I've heard that he and Harold aren't necessarily on the same page with a lot of things. If I were Harold, I would get on the same page with Okada and I would do it ASAP. I would make that work because Okada is a guy that you do not want to lose. You do not want to lose. So when the rumors of Impact being interested in selling to AEW emerged, I looked and I'm like, well, man, who do they have? who do they have that All Elite Wrestling would be interested in, should be interested in? And then I looked and I'm like, Jesus, there's a lot of people actually. Now that I sit down and look at it, all 4 of those women that I mentioned, Jordan Grace, Tessa Blanchard, Kiera Hogan, Taya, I would want all those in All Elite Wrestling. I would need those people. Oh, people are saying Austin Aries. I would steer clear of Aries, Del Rio, Cass, Enzo, anybody problematic like that. But when I look at Impact Wrestling, I'm thinking the LAX combo of Santana and Ortiz, you want them. Everybody wants Pentagon and Phoenix, almost to the point where they're overexposed. Willie Mack, you damn right you would want Willie Mack, and he's everywhere right now. The members of OVE, probably, especially Sami Callihan, if you need heels. Ethan Page, maybe down the line, they would want him. Moose is one. That's a name that you gotta look at. There are a lot of guys I don't think that they would touch with a 10-foot pole, but those people I think that they would definitely look at. Killer Cross, perhaps. Although I think that some of those guys fit these people are already too similar. Diamante, I don't even think she's working Impact anymore. I don't know why they don't bring her in. I would be looking at Eva Lise, bringing her in if as long as everything's clear there. I've been saying Eva Lise should be signed by somebody a long time ago. Impact has a lot of talent that other companies want right now. A whole lot. Man. Somebody says Maya Iwatani is on my list. I think she's on everybody's list. They should. Shout outs to OMG, sorry. That is my go-to. I use that instead of butter. I love it. Not a regular sponsor of the show, but thank you for their donation. Definitely a big supporter of OMG and OMG.com. Leave us a thumbs up on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe, guys. If you all want to do me a real solid, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on our MMA channel. It's youtube.com/Fightful MMA Boxing. Really need to get to 1,000. And Helico, yep, that's another one they should look at. Teddy Hart has signed with MLW. Tennille Dashwood has signed with Ring of Honor. Can they sign Ty? I'm tired of him. He is signed with WWE. Shane Strickland, he's going to have a lot of suitors. He is going to have a whole lot of suitors. Simon Dean to AEW. Okay, so this is going to surprise you guys. I hit up Mike Bucci, who played Simon Dean in Nova, a couple of times. He and I don't agree politically about anything, but if you've ever seen his shoot interviews, he does not care to talk about, like, say it how it is. He is very happy in the banking world, and he's doing very, very well, but he is a mind that is very supportive of stuff like this and is a brain that is worth picking from All Elite Wrestling. And I'm sure some of them have picked their brain. I mean, my God, if you all saw Mike Bucci's interview with Hannibal, he said a few months ago that he thought this was going to happen before all the SE Scoop stuff. Mike Bucci was saying there's going to be a company, a guy with a lot of money is going to come along, and they're going to have this this type of reach and this type of breakdown. Yeah, to tell you guys, by the way, as far as the reach of this impromptu stream, well beyond post Monday Night Raw podcast numbers at this point. Kaylee Ray, not thinking so. Not thinking so. La Parka to AEW. Here's what I don't expect AEW to do. I don't expect AEW to bring in people that are being brought in by everybody else. I don't expect them to do the same things that MLW and Ring of Honor are doing because they want to set themselves apart. And if you have all the same people on the same shows, you're not setting yourself apart. And I'm sure that that is something that they feel like they need to do, that they have to do. It is important to separate yourself in that regard. What's wrong with Kaylee Ray? There's a reason she's not with WWE. According to Reddit, they're very close to getting a distribution contract with TNT. True. Okay, so here's the thing. I've heard that there were talks with that and you can't rule TNT out. Why can't you rule TNT out? Well, it's because they've got one championship MMA on their network now, at least to some degree. Most of it's on the BR Live platform. But TNT, if they are in the MMA game, why wouldn't they be in the pro wrestling game? Will AEW even beat ROH? Like, there's a lot of cynicism around this. Like, I mean, who has the better roster right now? AEW, I think by a country mile, has a better roster than Ring of Honor. I don't think it's even a discussion. Doesn't TNT have the NBA on Tuesdays? Yeah, but I mean, I don't think they're married to Tuesday Night Dynamite. Just, it's wild, man. Jacob Cohen tells me that there's a lot of, I can't comment yet on this and that. There is a rumor that WWE is not allowing AEW merchandise in the building tonight. Khan said that he was in attendance for Jericho's last match in the ECW arena. Starrcast 2 has been set. Tony Khan mentioned that the Jacksonville show will be this summer. He said that running the rally against SmackDown was because these guys came from Tokyo and it was the first opportunity. Perhaps that's more believable, but they ran it on Tuesday up the block from SmackDown on purpose. Guys, I want to thank you all so much. If you all want to get more questions in, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. I'm telling you guys, we're bringing you exclusive news all the time on that platform early. Do not sleep on that service. We have a lot of voices over there. Myself, Warren Hayes, Steven Jensen, lots of cool stuff. Tune in tonight after SmackDown. We'll talk more about this. Tune in Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you've never watched the Listen Ya Boy podcast, it's the founder of Fightful.com, Jimmy Van, and myself talking all kinds of great stuff. Man, if you all are sleeping on Fightful.com, it's time to wake up. Check us out, guys. Thank you all so much. Hundreds of you guys on an impromptu stream that I did not advertise. Leave that thumbs up. It is very important to us. Till next time, we're out.